Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Interviewing Winners. I'm super excited today to talk with Dolly Cortez. Now, Dolly is the president and CEO of Rose Gold Publishing. Her work is about helping writers heal while getting their message out there. She's a sought-after speaker. She's a life and business coach. She's incredible, and I know you're going to love her. So let's get into it. Hey, Dolly.
Hi, Joseph. How are you?
I am fantastic, Dolly. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. I am so happy today. I'm always happy. I'm just like you.
I love it. Well, hey, other than the things that I just introduced you with, could you tell a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So you did mention I am the president and CEO of Rose Gold Publishing. I'm also an international motivational speaker, which I love doing. I love speaking. It's when I'm speaking in front of an audience, I feel like I'm in my element. It really brings out the best in me. I am a life and business coach, and I do use those skills to work with the non-writers who want to become published authors so that I can guide them. I am also the founder of a meetup. It's called Right to Heal. And it's because I wanted to be able to offer my services locally to my community. For those people who are thinking about, maybe becoming an author, but not necessarily, is more about the healing, which is more important to themselves. So I do a little bit of everything. I'm an MC, and I work a lot with fundraising for nonprofit organizations as well. So I like to offer my services to them because I really believe that, the nonprofits especially, they're really out there so that they can make a difference in people's lives, and that's really what I'm about.
Love it. And Dolly, you do a lot of things, and I know you have a lot of fun doing it. What is it about your work that keeps you just passionate and engaged about it?
Joseph, that's a great question. My biggest thing is I believe there is just too much pain in this world. I want to be a seed that is planted so that I can help people heal. And that may sound like it's a big job, but I also do believe that you just need to start with one person. So I work with people individually to focus on healing. It's always about healing. Could you just imagine, look, you got a good life. I got a good life. I love my life. I love everything about my life. Okay? I love everything about my life, but it wasn't always the case for me. Imagine if everyone around us fell in love with their life. What would this world be like? So that's what I do. That's my focus. That's my passion.
I love it. What would you say? Because a lot of people out there don't particularly know what they love or what they're passionate about. What advice would you have for a person who they're maybe a little lost and they don't know what they want to do?
The first thing you need to do is pull out a piece of paper and write down what you don't want versus what you want. What you don't want. For example, okay, I don't want to have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to catch a train, to go to work in downtown, the city of Chicago, in downtown, because of congestion, because of traffic, because of the stress, to make sure that I get to my office by 9 a.m. Okay? I don't want that. I never did, so I refuse to do it. You see what I mean? Pick what you don't want. You don't want a decaf cup of coffee? Then order a caffeinated cup of coffee, okay? Look at what you don't like. Look at what brings you joy versus what doesn't bring you joy. And I get that question a lot. I'm like, I don't know what I want. I'm like, well, what don't you want? Do you want to have to get up early in the morning? Do you want to be able to, be home in the evenings with your children, to work with them, to see your significant other, to just have some family time? If that's what's important to you, then make that decision that that's what you want. And then everything else that surrounds you, every decision that you make moving forward can be based on the values that you have set for yourself. And those values are family time. Those values are quality time. Those values are dinner time, whatever it may be. And I'm just throwing some examples. But you really can figure out what you want if you know what you don't want.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
It does. And you see, some people, it's like there is that one thing that they're going to land on, that this is what I want to do with my life. And other people, it's like you, there's lots of different things that we need to be involved with to keep us engaged. And like Andrew Carnegie said, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. But then people like Gary Vee say, no, you can do a bunch of different things and it keeps you going. So because you do so many things, what helps you, I guess, keep a balance between all of that and your personal life? And how do you balance it?
My electronic calendar, first of all. You have to be organized. I even this meeting, it had to be scheduled. It was scheduled a few weeks ago. So everything has to be on schedule. In fact, I even told my kids, if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. So I make appointments for everything. If it's because, I have to admit, I don't go to the gym, but let's say that I wanted to. Let's say that I wanted to go to the gym and I want to schedule it for 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. on Wednesday mornings or whatever, then it goes on the calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't happen. So I really truly believe that organization is such a key. You also have to, again, decide what's really and truly important to you. I work 7 days a week. Okay. I work 7 days a week because I love what I do. What I do doesn't feel like work. I could work 12, 15, 16 hours a day. It doesn't feel like work. Maybe I need to get up and stretch a few times if I'm sitting for too long, but it really does not feel like work. So if you decide what's important to you and you know what, and that includes the family time. For example, I keep on using family time, but that includes family time, or it could be travel. Let's say that I want to be able to travel to 3 or 4 different countries a year. Okay, I haven't done it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't done it. But let's say that I wanted to do that. Then I have to schedule it. I have to plan for it. So, if I have, and also I give myself time limits. So try to keep boundaries as well. I work with clients, I give them 1 hour slots. If I give a 2 hour slot, then it must be a really important meeting. But then that 2 hour slot does not mean that I could still talk and see 7 clients in one day. That means I have to reduce the number of clients I can see because I will still work from this time and this time. What I love about my schedule is, I'm able, thankfully, to work from home. I'm grateful. And it wasn't because of the COVID. I've been working from home since 2018. I get up, I get dressed, and I'm in the office. And I work until 4:30, 5 o'clock, generally. There are those times where I have to go over because of my demand. However, normally when my husband gets home, I'm making dinner because I enjoy it. I am able to go out, go shopping, go to stores, talk to my sister, talk to my parents, whatever it may be, is the choices I make. I think that sometimes people get lost in their work and they're like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And they forget, there's someone waiting for me. There's children that get happy when they see me walk through the door. Even the little 4-legged creatures that we love so much. We want to give them our time. And I also do say that life is too short. Even if you live to be 100, life is too short because there's so much that you should be able to do.
And there's so many things that we all want to do. One of my favorite quotes is from Alan Watts, the philosopher, where he said, it's better to have a short life that's full of what you love doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. Yeah.
Well, you know what that reminds me of? Have you ever heard of, I don't know who said it. You're really good at quoting people. I don't know who said it. But there's so many, when you go to a cemetery, when you see a cemetery, you go drive by a cemetery, there's so many stories and dreams that got lost by so many people that never explored that life, that vision, that dream. And I think that's so sad.
It is. And you see, I was watching Les Brown one time, And
Yes,
he
I know
said
him.
something that was just so on point, where he said, imagine that 40, 50, 60 years down the road, however long we end up living, you're laying on your deathbed and you know that you're about to take your last breath.
Mhm.
And standing around you are all of the talents and the opportunities and the skills that you never acted on. And they're standing around there looking down on you like, why didn't you do something? Now,
Yeah.
because you didn't act on us, we are going to die with you.
Oh, that's so powerful. That's so powerful. That gives me like the chills. But that is so powerful. And you know what? Let me put it to you this way. I was not like this years back. I changed my life back in 2014, and I was very intentional about changing my life. And I'm so glad I did. I have never been happier than I am today. You know, and every day I say that. I've never been happier than even the day before. Like, for example, I just moved. I moved to my dream home. I love where I'm at. You know, the home, the structure, the building itself. It's, you know, it's from 1961. That doesn't matter to me. I am surrounded by so much beauty. I'm surrounded by so much land. I'm surrounded by the trees. I wake up listening to the birds chirping, you know, in the morning. It's so beautiful. It gives me an opportunity to, I mean, it has, in my opinion, I've always had high energy anyway, but I feel like it has elevated me even further. So I am looking out to how else can I help? How else can I make a difference? What new thing can I do? I already have my to-do list here, you know, for this morning of things that I need to do by the end of the day. So you know, opportunities are only opportunities if you're ready to take them on. You know that, right? So it's a sad thing to imagine you being in your deathbed and surrounded by your goals, your dreams, and opportunities that you never took. Not me. I'm gonna take everything that I can, that comes to me, that I create. Because I also say that if it's not made, create it. If it's not available, make it happen.
It's like there's another really good quote. And I know I got a lot of quotes. I don't remember who said it, but he said, most people out there are blaming their circumstances for where they're at in life. Now this quote, he says, I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, they make them.
They make them. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know who said that either, but I completely agree. I'm always about creating. You know, it's funny. I just started doing more DIY projects. Okay? Not that it's not that I can't go buy an item. I said, I'm gonna have fun creating them. You know, like even upholstery. I started doing, it's funny, I started doing some upholstery around my house. I changed the look of a chair, of a pillow, or whatever it may be. I love it. I'm having fun with it. I'm creating what makes sense for me. My new home, every room has messages. Just like you quotes, I have quotes throughout my entire house. You know, I'm creating that space. I'm creating the joy that surrounds me 24/7, you know? So I think that we, every single one of us, every person that is listening to me and to Joseph, you have the opportunity, I'm speaking to you right now, you absolutely have the opportunity to create the best life that you want. But the first thing that you need to do is make a decision about wanting to live the best life.
Starts with that decision that I'm going to do it. Now, you see, I've heard it said before, and this goes back to the idea of our talents and our opportunities standing around our deathbed. I've heard it said before that everybody has a book in them.
Oh, yeah.
I know you believe that. So my question for you is, what do you have to say to a person who has a story to tell or an understanding that they know that they need to share and they want to write a book and they don't know where to start? What do you recommend a person like that? What do they do?
You know what? I get that. I even get that question all the time from potential authors. You know, they tell me, you know, I have a story, you know, this happened to me and I don't know where to start, and I don't know if I even should, you know, who's going to read my story. And, you know, the first thing that I often, you know, I work with 3 different pieces. This is kind of like how I work with them. Is like, okay, first of all, what is it that you want to talk about? What is your story? What is your message behind it? What is your message? What is your why? Why now? Why is this important? Why do you want to share it? And then I also say, who's your audience? And those are like the 3 segments that I really focus on so that we can actually start writing on the book. But that's for someone who's really convinced that they should. And I've had those conversations with those people that are like, should I? I'm like, I really, truly believe that everyone has a story. And I just had the conversation in a meeting before I met with you. Now, I said, this story that you're writing is no longer about you. When we went back and talked about what the message is that you want to share with readers, with the community, with the world, you said this. So this is no longer about you. It may be your story, but this is greater than you. It's bigger than you. So can you truly impact a community? Like with my clients, most of them, I work with, people to help them to heal from their past traumatic experiences so their voices can be heard. And that to me is like music to my ears. It really is. Because I deal with women that have been raped, that have gone through domestic violence, that have lost loved ones, that have been bullied, and so on and so forth. And the stuff that I hear, the stories that I hear are raw, are difficult, are sad, and 99% of the time, they're crying as they're talking to me about their traumatic experiences. That's just a portion of the world, right? There's so much pain. Then you have those individuals that just say, oh, I feel good, life is great, and I just want to share that message. I want to feel empowered, I don't know how. I say, just start writing. Just start writing. Don't worry about the I's being dotted, the T's being crossed. Just start writing. Put it down. Write down what you're feeling, but be sincere. Don't, what do you call it? Don't exaggerate. Don't embellish. That's the word I'm looking for. Don't embellish. Just be real. And I think those are the best stories.
And I agree. Those are the ones that just, it's not so much what you're actually reading. It's not so much the words as the spirit behind the words.
Yeah, it really is. And I think that everyone is so talented and everyone has a gift. And there may be some people that don't know how to spell Jack, okay? If that's the case, it's okay. Just record it. You can speak. You may not be able to spell, but you can record it. And let someone else do the transcribing for you. Let you share your story. Share your story. When I started writing, I've written multiple books. When I started writing, I started receiving messages from my readers. And I was so proud and so happy of how I was impacting these readers. And then it made me realize not only am I impacting the readers, but in turn I'm impacting the community. Because these readers are sharing, they're sharing what they read with other people. I had people all over social media sharing themselves with pictures of my books and tagging me and tagging, 99 other people, on their page. And I'm like, I'm impacting the community because of what I share. So I think it's important for everyone to share their story. Everyone has a story. Don't tell me you don't. You have a story, Joseph. You have a story. We have chatted before. And I know you're writing, which I love. And you're so young. So I could just imagine how many people you're going to impact, especially within your own age group, your community, your personal community.
That's the plan, Dolly.
Yeah.
Now, you see, on your journey through life, I know you've learned a lot of things. You've had a lot of experiences that have helped you get to the level of success and liveliness in life that you're at. What has been the most valuable lesson that you've learned for you?
I needed to learn to love myself. I think undoubtedly that was the key. I always, as the mom, as the wife, as the daughter, It was always about taking care of everyone first. And I barely ever made it on the list. It was like, yeah, I'll get to me when I get to me, if I get to me. I wouldn't buy things for myself. I wouldn't do things for myself. And it came to a point years back in 2014 that I had that realization that I was incredibly unhappy. I wasn't unhappy in my career. I was unhappy in my marriage. I was unhappy in my home, not because of the walls that were there, but what was really truly happening in my home. And I really hated my life until I started evaluating what was important to me and what I no longer wanted. That's why I know I can say that. After I decided what I no longer wanted, and it made me realize what I really yearned for. I wanted peace. I wanted love, genuine love. I wanted freedom. I wanted flexibility. I wanted quality time with my family. That was so important to me. And I wanted to impact lives. But in order for me to be able to do any and all of that, I needed to have the confidence in myself that I could. And I truly needed to love myself and respect myself enough to provide a set of guidelines and boundaries for those that surrounded me. And I became much more selective as well of who I allowed to surround me. You know that quote, you become the average of the 5 people you hang around with.
Absolutely. They say, you show me your friends and I'll show you your future. The people we hang around with, that's the stuff that's getting downloaded into our personality.
It really is.
And I've heard it said before, a really good way, if you realize you're surrounded by people who aren't really helping you get to that next level of where you want to be in life, you don't need to just cut everybody out and go find a new group of friends or isolate yourself. You can just start by replacing one negative person. Just decide, I'm going to spend, instead of seeing them twice a week, I'm going to see them once a week. And I know this positive person, I'm going to try to talk to them once a week. Just start to flip things around.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I did. I came to the extreme that I was just even blocking people. I was like, you know what? I'm done with the negativity. I'm done with the toxicity. I'm done. I don't want this in my life. And I cannot emphasize it enough. Decide what you no longer want in your life. And that may include certain people. And that's okay, because it's your life and you're entitled to choose who you have around you. So, and that also comes with learning to love yourself. If it was not aligned, if that person is not aligned with my values, why would I want that person hanging out with me? It doesn't make sense.
Now, what was it that, like, what can a person do to start loving themselves?
I think the people need to start evaluating where they are today. You know, it's a sense of reflection. I used to be the type of person I couldn't sit still for 10 minutes. I couldn't meditate, God forbid, for 10 minutes. That was like a century, you know, that's like too long. Now I can actually meditate for 2 hours, you know, which is, I don't need to go beyond that, you know, but you really need to decide what you want. So you have to reflect on where you are. I have people that don't know. Look, I asked one client, I ask this all the time, but this particular client, I asked her, what brings you joy? And then I just shut up and I waited for an answer. And it was probably the longest pause I've ever had. And she said, I don't know. I said, okay, let's look at that. And I started with, well, tell me, what don't you like? And then she said, well, I don't know. What do you mean? You know? So I started like, okay, let's talk about, if it's too hard to decide what you don't like, what you like. Okay, I'm just going to throw you this. Do you like chocolate ice cream? Or do you prefer vanilla? She goes, I prefer vanilla. Okay, great. So we know you like vanilla. You know you don't like chocolate. And I made it kind of like a game, but start reflecting. Honest to God, that's what I did for myself. And that's when I realized I don't even like my husband. I changed my career. I changed my life. I changed my husband. I changed my home. I changed everything that was taking place around me because I decided to just pause, do a reset, and think about what's happening here. If I'm not happy, why am I unhappy? And if I'm this unhappy, how many people, honestly, are just as unhappy, if not more? How can I help change that? Well, in order for me to change that, I have to be an example. So I have to be able to do for me first. And it may sound selfish. Oh my God, how could you put yourself first? Well, guess what? Now I do. And I love it. I love it. But that's the reality. Look at where you are. If you're not happy because you work 10-hour days, okay, what options do you have? Look at your options. Is it because you travel 3 hours a day to get to work to and from? Well, then maybe look for a job that's closer to the house. You know what I mean? It's all about choices, Joseph. And honestly, I'll be honest with you. It really gets tiring sometimes to listen to people just complain and complain and complain and think that by doing the same thing over and over again every single day, their life will one day change. It's not going to happen.
Yep. If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten.
Exactly. So if you wanted people to change, to improve their lives, they have to make a decision. It always starts with a decision.
Absolutely. Hey, the last question that I have for you, Dolly, is if you had a time machine and you could go back to a younger you at some point in your life and give her one piece of advice, what point in your life would you go back to and what would you tell her?
Ah, that's a good one. Oh, you got me. I think I will go back to the age of 21. I was always a go-getter. I was always a hard worker. I mean, I worked 2 jobs, went to college full time. I worked hard for everything that I got. And I don't regret my previous marriage because I have my 2 beautiful sons from it. However, I think, the biggest advice would be take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first. Before anything and anyone, take care of yourself first. And again, that may sound selfish to some people listening to that, but it's just like putting that mask, to breathe. What do you call that for the airplane, right? If you don't put it on for yourself, how are you able to take care of others? You have to take care of yourself first. I did not do that. I got lost because I was too busy being, just I'm going to give and give and give and give and give and give and give. And it's okay if occasionally I'll receive. But I gave so much of myself, I got lost in that. And then I was unappreciated, underappreciated, and genuinely unhappy. And it wasn't until I started to take care of myself and live the life that I wanted that, I was able to create the life I now have, which I absolutely love.
Fantastic. Dolly, this has been so much fun. You are such an incredible woman. I'm so grateful to have been able to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You are an amazing man. I just adore you. I love speaking with you, and I look forward to more chats.
Absolutely. And hey, everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. If you got as much value out of it as I did, please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, or share my channel. and you take these lessons and apply them in your life, that's when things change. And like Dolly said, make a decision that you are going to take control of your life.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody.